Let's bring in our economic experts, president of Strellmark LLC, business development consultants, Hillary. Also with us, former California congressman and CEO of Trump Media and Technology, Devin Nunes. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Ladies first, Hillary. Let's turn now to the VP office, Vice President Kamala Harris. Her Rolling Stone interview, it was laced with profanity. I've been one to drop an F-bomb here and there, but I'm not the vice president. And she's claimed she says that she's cursing a lot more since taking office. Then in the interview, which I don't do, she proceeded to drop more F-bombs, quote, "You F with the status quo, it will fight you." And then referring to the abortion case in front of the Supreme Court, she said, quote, "It's effed up. It's no wonder she can't keep." I mean, really? Really, Kamala, this is the same lady that there's all these reports coming out that no one can work for her because it's too volatile, right? We've seen this mass exodus of people leaving her office. So what do you think about this kind of behavior from a vice president?
Well, Lydia, not only is it volatile, it's totally and utterly unprofessional. And using expletives is an indication of insufficient vocabulary to express oneself. And I think that she lacks that sufficient vocabulary. I think she's a bad example. As the first female vice president, she could have been a role model to all women. For all the professional firms that I vote, that I work in, I would never want anyone who's a voter, let alone a young woman, to use such expletives and to behave in such a manner. So she's a bad example. She actually, to the world, is an indication of a decaying culture in the US, and it's become coarser and coarser. I know that the PBS tried to blame this on Trump years ago, but actually President Trump did not use expletives whilst in office verbally. Now, people complain about his tweets, etc., but he did not use vulgarity in the White House. And I think that this is a great mistake, bad for females, a very bad role model, and bad for the U.S. globally.
So, Devin, they found cocaine in the White House. They're bringing all these trans people in. People are going topless. Now you've got a vice president that's cursing in national publications. I thought they were the adults, right? I thought they were going to bring decency back to the White House.
It's important to go back to Kamala Harris's home state and her early beginnings. And this is what happens, as countries start to decay. One of the first things that happens in socialist or Marxist ideologies is that you began to get chosen for higher office based on who they think you may appeal to or who you are close to. It used to be called the Politburo system. Well, California has been using the Politburo system for the last 2 decades. People have been promoted in California in the Democratic Party based on who you know. And so Kamala Harris has never had to actually face a tough election for any office that she's ever run for. She ran in heavy Democrat precincts or districts. She was anointed, so she never had to run. She was anointed by the party leaders. So now when you get to one of the highest offices in the land, and as somebody who had to work with her, I was a congressman from California. She was a California senator. And I mean, you want to talk about being unprofessional. She would not even meet with the Republicans in Congress. Okay. I don't even think the Democrats, I don't think she would meet with either. So you never have to run for office. You ultimately end up in the United States Senate. You don't work with anybody. You don't work on anything. And then all of a sudden you become vice president. And guess what? Now you're throwing out F-bombs everywhere and the country's going to hell in a handbasket because you have people that aren't qualified to be there because she's never had to actually do or govern anything. And she's totally unqualified.
Although she is running things up. See how that goes.
Yeah, and then she likes to show off her dance moves while the country and everything's in turmoil. All right, we have to leave it right there. Hillary and Devin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.